I had Coach Saban on, and I'll ask you the same thing I asked him about the comments from your colleague in Clemson, from Dabo Swinney, that he believes that what's going on with NIL, that college football is headed for a reckoning, to get blown up is the word that he used. Would you agree with that assessment, Lane Kiffin?
I read that. I actually texted him, good job on it, because it is. I'm for that the kids make money. It's just there's no, I said it from day one, put no salary cap in the NFL. How does that work? And different teams have different money, and then there's no real contracts on a lot of it. They're not necessarily locked in, so technically everybody could be a free agent every year. And really, if you're think how messed up the system is. If you're a great player, you're Bryce Young after the national championship last year, you should go in the portal. Even if you want to stay at Alabama, because all you'll do is drive up your price there, because then the collectives there will suddenly come up with a lot of money from Alabama people to keep you. So what would any player do that could opt into a free agency every year? They would do it, test the market, and get the most they could.
So are you seeing that from Ole Miss's point of view, or are you seeing that players are doing that already right now, Lane?
Actually, probably a lot of them have figured it out.
Right.
I think you've seen a few of them. Most of the times people are going in because they're not happy where they're at, or want to play at a bigger level. We have started to see a few at places. I think, it's not, they weren't unhappy. They just figured this out. Like, hey, I can maybe come back where I'm at, but let me see what I can get paid. So, and you're going to have all these locker room dynamics where now you're reading, you got a player coming into school over there in East Tennessee that, for $8 million, it hasn't played it down, and you got a locker room saying, wait, now what if the guy doesn't play? How's that going to work? And then how is the donor going to feel that paid all that money when the guy's not playing? And so you got a lot of things that haven't been figured out at all.
Well, then, in terms of, before I ask you for what you think could be done to fix it, let me bounce this one off you, because I had Mac Brown, your colleague at North Carolina, on the program just last week, and he said there are some kids who come in his office and say, I've been offered this much in NIL at another spot, you match it, I'll play for you. And he basically, that's where he throws his hands up and goes, essentially, get out of here. Has that happened with you, Lane Kiffin?
When you say get out of here, I don't think you're going to sign many players. So let's be realistic. Now, we are in a different state law in a lot of states right now. That's, I think, being changed very quickly, that we can't really discuss with them that. Only the collective group can. So, so we don't do that. But, if coaches, I say like this, if you don't want to, if you're not going to evolve with things, and okay, here's NIL or here's the portal, and we're not going to do these things, you'll be just like those coaches that wanted to stay in I formation football. That, we're not going to evolve. We're going to keep running pro style under center football, and look what's happened to them. So this is just the next thing that you better evolve. One of the best evolves ever is Nick Saban. Changing offenses. When people thought he wouldn't, and he did, because he's smart enough to know you better always evolve.
Lane Kiffin here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what's the fix? What do you think? What would be a fix where kids still get the proper name, image, and likeness, market value that they deserve, and people aren't taking advantage of the system from the paying point of view? What do you think?
I don't really have all that answer. They're still not treated as employees. So, how can you start putting caps on what they make and stuff? So, you got issues that, they're going to need to be, if you're going to have to put a cap somewhere and monitor it and, be able to, figure the whole system out. Otherwise, they keep saying these guys aren't employees. Well, why? How are they not?
Yeah, I guess. That's the way it's kind of heading. I don't know what the fix is. It just seems like to me, if somebody's going around saying, I'm offered this much money in NIL deals, if you match it, I'll come here, and if not, I'll go somewhere else. I mean, where does that leave you as a head coach? You know what I'm saying?
It's just like I said, it's professional sports. It's no different than an agent with a free agent saying, okay, we'll come to, or we have this from the Raiders, but we'll come to you and the Falcons if you match it.
That's what it sounds. You're just changing the names, right? It's just like one big Mad Lib where you're just changing everything around. So will you be in Las Vegas? Do I see you for the draft? Coach Lane Kiffin, will you be there in Vegas?
I don't think so. Matt's having a party. Text the other day about it. I think we got a lot of stuff going on here, but maybe.
Okay. And what is going on over there? What is your spring game or your spring practices and the future of Ole Miss that you want to tell your fan base, Lane Kiffin, before I let you go?
Well, a lot to replace. We had already had 12 major college transfers come in, in this transfer portal, and so we got to replace a lot of really good players that were good kids like Matt, and so that won't be easy. It looks good on paper, just like I say. These people say, "Oh, you guys are number one in the transfer portal." Well, who cares? That doesn't mean anything, and you don't get any trophies for that. And just because things look good on paper and good players doesn't mean they mesh together. Look at basketball, NBA basketball. These teams that are supposed to be great with these, a couple great players and rosters doesn't mean that's not how it works. So we got a lot of work to do putting them together and getting them to buy into culture and all that, because it's kind of like we've got all these new adopted kids coming in that were raised at all these different places. Because it's not like they're all high school kids. These kids are, 3-4 years at other colleges. So that's a new kind of world to try to do.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.